Marvel has villains you can punch, and then it has beings so vast that entire galaxies are just background decoration to them. These are the cosmic entities, the forces that literally run reality, and most of them can end existence with a thought. So let's climb the ladder from the world eaters all the way up to the being who's writing the whole story, starting with the biggest appetite in the universe. Galactus is where most people start, and honestly, he's the gateway drug to Marvel's cosmic side. Once a mortal named Galen who survived the death of the previous universe, he was reborn as a cosmic force who has to devour entire planets just to survive. He's not evil. He's a fundamental part of the balance of the universe, which is exactly what makes him terrifying. When Galactus shows up, your world is basically already on the menu. The Celestials are those enormous, armored space gods you saw looming in the Eternals movie. For millions of years, they've been traveling the cosmos, experimenting on developing species and planting seeds of new Celestials inside planets. They're judge, jury, and genetic engineer for entire civilizations, and they answer to almost no one. Even other cosmic beings tend to step aside when the space gods come knocking. The Watchers are an ancient race sworn to observe the entire multiverse and never, ever interfere. Uatu is the famous one, stationed on the moon watching over Earth, and the whole Disney Plus What If series is narrated by his voice. Their power is godlike, but their oath is the real story, because every time a Watcher breaks that vow, it usually means the universe is about to break too. They see everything and are cursed to just watch. The Phoenix Force is the cosmic embodiment of life, death, and rebirth itself. A firebird of pure creation that's existed since the beginning of time. It's best known for bonding with Jean Grey and turning her into the Dark Phoenix. But the Force is way bigger than any one host. It can consume stars for energy and wipe out worlds when it loses control. Both a giver of life and a destroyer of it, all in one flaming package. The Stranger is one of Marvel's great mysteries. A wandering cosmic being who collects specimens and conducts experiments across the universe, and nobody's totally sure what he actually is. He's got power on the level of the biggest players, but his motives are completely alien. Sometimes he's a threat, sometimes he's just curious. He's the cosmic equivalent of a scientist who might dissect a planet just to see what's inside. Eon is a strange, floating cosmic entity that exists to protect life across the universe and to appoint protectors of the universe, most famously Quasar. Eon is millions of years old and communicates through cryptic guidance, essentially acting as a cosmic mentor and quantum sensor. Its offspring, Epoch, carries on the same role. Think of Eon as the universe's early warning system, choosing champions to hold back the darkness. The in-betweener is the walking definition of duality. Half his body represents one extreme, the other half the opposite. Created by Master Order and Lord Chaos, he embodies all the contradictions of existence, life and death, good and evil, logic and emotion. He exists to maintain the balance between fundamental opposites. When he starts trying to collapse everything into a single state, reality itself gets very nervous. These two are cosmic abstractions representing the ultimate tension in the universe, order versus chaos. They're constantly balancing each other out, and their conflict shapes the structure of reality on the deepest level. They created the in-betweener and have manipulated cosmic events for eons. In recent stories, they even fused into a terrifying new entity, proving that even the abstracts can rewrite the rules. The Beyonder came from a realm beyond our universe entirely, and once considered himself omnipotent. He ran the original secret wars, snatching heroes and villains just to watch them fight. At his peak, he could reshape reality on a whim and was arguably more powerful than almost anything on this list. The twist is he was basically a curious child with infinite power, learning what it means to exist. Imagine a god still figuring out his own limits. Oblivion is the abstract embodiment of nothingness, not death, but the total absence of existence itself. Alongside eternity, infinity, and death, He's one of the four pillars that define reality. Oblivion wants to return everything to the void it came from, which makes him one of the most quietly horrifying entities Marvel has. You can't fight nothing, you just eventually become part of it. Mistress Death is the literal personification of the end of all things, and she's famous for one reason. Thanos is madly in love with her. The entire Infinity Gauntlet saga happened because Thanos wanted to impress Death by wiping out half the universe. She rarely speaks and rarely shows favor, which only makes her more haunting. She's not cruel, she's just inevitable. Infinity is the embodiment of all space in the universe. Everywhere that exists, all at once. She's the sibling and counterpart to eternity, and together they represent the total scope of reality. Infinity is a genuinely abstract concept given form, existing on a level where planets and galaxies are meaningless. When she appears, you're not looking at a character so much as the fabric of space itself deciding to have a conversation. Eternity is the personification of all time, the living universe itself from beginning to end. His body famously contains the stars and cosmos within his silhouette, which is one of the coolest visuals in all of comics. He represents everything that has ever happened or will happen, and even the Living Tribunal treats him with respect. When a mortal like Doctor Strange gets to meet eternity, it's usually the biggest moment of their life. The Living Tribunal is the cosmic judge who maintains balance across the entire multiverse. Three faces representing equity, necessity, and vengeance. His rulings are absolute, and no single entity, not even eternity, can overrule him. He steps in when the balance of realities is threatened, like preventing anyone from misusing ultimate power. He's basically the Supreme Court of all existence, and there is no appeal. And here it is, the top of the entire ladder. The one above all is Marvel's supreme being, the closest thing to an actual god in the comics, and the Living Tribunal answers directly to it. There's a long-running theory that the one above all is literally the writers and creators, especially Stan Lee, who sometimes appears in cosmic scenes. It's benevolent, all-knowing, and above every single entity we've talked about. When you reach the one above all, there's simply nothing higher. So which one of these cosmic giants is your favorite? The abstract concept of death, or the guy who literally sits above God? Drop it in the comments, and if you made it this far, smash that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Deep Dive.